Faith is the assurance of things hoped for. But what are you actually hoping for? As Christian men, we are called to surrender our lives to Jesus. To surrender to Jesus means to give in, not to give up. We are called to use our strengths, abilities, and opportunities to grow and prosper. We are called to strengthen ourselves, our families, and our communities. We are called to be disciplined, courageous, and honorable. This is Surrendered Strength. Men, welcome back to another episode of the Surrendered Strength podcast. I'm your host, Niall Lansing, and in today's episode, we're talking about living by faith. And the reality is, most men are not living by faith. And for one simple reason, they don't even know what they have faith in or what they're hoping for in their life. So before we dive into that, I want to encourage you to like, subscribe, and share with another brother who needs to hear this message. Man, we need more of us who are pursuing God, living in a way that honors and glorifies God through the trials, because your life is going to be full of trials. And the more we can understand our faith and our hope, the more we can walk with God through the trials, trust Him through whenever life throws at us. So let's dive into today's topic. As I mentioned in the beginning, faith, which this comes from Hebrews 11, verse 1. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the convictions of things not seen. Now, the Bible also tells us to live by faith, walk by faith. And I know for me, there was a point in time where I realized that I was telling myself I was walking by faith. I was living by faith. But when I took a step back and really looked at the truth, I wasn't living by faith. I was living out of fear. I was living in a way that I was trying to avoid the things that I didn't want instead of pursuing the things that I did want. And after realizing this, I started to shift. I started to pivot and to rebuild my life around what I actually wanted and what I was actually hoping for, what I was actually putting my faith in. And this was great, but what I've also realized recently was that I started getting off track again. And I started shifting my focus to, again, back to the things that I didn't want versus on the things that I actually am hoping for, that I'm hoping God will do in my life, that I'm hoping God will do in my marriage, that I'm hoping God will do through my finances and through my health. So today I want to ask the question to you. What are you actually hoping for? Because we can't live by faith if we have no idea what we're actually hoping for. Again, this is just us focusing on the things that we don't want versus going after the things that we do want, or trusting God to provide us with the things that we are hoping for and that we do want, and trusting God to do what He has promised to do. So I want you to take some time and consider, what are you actually hoping for in your marriage? Where are you struggling? What are you hoping for? And in all of these questions, and this is true for me, that the first response is typically, I don't want this. I don't want my partner to do this. I don't want my business to do this, or I don't want this to happen. And this is living out of fear. Again, I did this for years. We focus on what we don't want, but when we strip away that and get past the things that we don't want, can we truly identify what we actually want? So again, take some time with this and ask yourself, what am I actually hoping for in my marriage? What am I actually hoping for in my business or my money? What am I actually hoping for in my body, in my health? What am I actually hoping for in my relationship with God? And we've been kind of doing this in the past where I'm going to encourage you to pause, to write these questions down. This is exactly what I did. I'm going off these notes of me going through the same process of writing it out, giving myself some space to really identify what I want in all of these areas. Because we can't have faith and we can't have hope in something that we don't believe we're actually going towards or that we actually want. Again, we're just living out of fear and hoping to avoid pain. And that's never going to happen. So we have to identify what we actually want if we're ever actually going to move forward. So the next question for that I had to ask myself, what am I convicted God will do even though I'm not seeing it yet? And again, look at these four areas: marriage, money, whether that's whether you own a business or you are an employee, your health, and your being, your relationship with God. What am I convicted God will do even though I'm not seeing it yet? And really answer that. Say, I am convicted. This is how I answered, started one of my answers is I am convicted God will. I am convicted God will. And write this stuff out or type it out. Get it somewhere where you can see it, where you can look at it and be reminded of yourself. This is what I hope for. This is what I'm convicted God is going to do in my life, marriage, money, health, relationship with Him. This is what I'm convicted God will do. And when we can focus on that, when we can put our faith and trust in God to do what only God can do, even though we're not seeing it yet, we can then truly have the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Then it is a tragedy to constantly live by fear and have no hope. And again, like I said, I did this for years where I would tell myself, yes, I have faith. Yes, I'm walking by faith. But I wasn't. We can tell ourselves so many things. We can tell ourselves, yeah, I'm eating healthy. We can tell ourselves, yes, I'm working out regularly. Are you actually? Like, what does regularly look like for you? What are you actually working towards in your health? I mean, is regularly once a week, once every 2 weeks? We have this unfortunate ability to believe and to feel like we're doing something even when we're not doing it. Just like working out, just like eating healthy, even giving. We have this ability to see something see something on maybe it's on TV, or you hear some kind of commercial on the radio, and they're asking for money, and you think, oh yeah, I should do that, and you tell yourself, yeah, I'm going to do that, and you actually have that feeling of, yeah, I'm giving, I'm going to do this. You have the intention of doing it, full hearted intention of doing it, but then you never actually do it. And we have this ability to trick ourselves into believing that, oh yeah, I did a good thing, when in reality we didn't. And the same thing is applied in our faith, in the way we live out our faith, and the way we live out our life in fear. Just because we tell ourselves and believe in in the thing that we're going after doesn't mean we're actually going after it. Just because we tell ourselves we're living by faith doesn't mean we're actually living by faith. And the start of this is, again, what we've been talking about today. What do you actually hope for? And what are you actually putting your faith in? Because that is going to determine how you walk through every trial and every tribulation that you experience on this earth. So, man, I just want to encourage you. Understand what you're actually hoping for, what you're wanting, what direction you're going in life. And for some of you're saying you want to be a godly man and you want to walk with God, but your life does not reflect that. You continue to live in your old habits, your old ways, in your old relationships. Again, we can tell ourselves, we can have the intention of being a godly man and repenting and doing what God is asking of us. But are we actually doing it? For a lot of us, the answer is no. And I fall into this category too. I have room to grow and room to surrender and submit and to do what God is actually telling me to do, instead of simply trying to do what I want to do. So, man, what are you actually hoping for? Where are you putting your faith, and what are you convicted God will do in your life? Man, if you have been struggling, trying to figure out how to walk with God, I want to encourage you to join the Strong Disciples Brotherhood. You can connect with me on Instagram, surrender.strength or Nyland Lansing, and I will get you connected. You can do a 7 day, a free 7 day challenge to get your foot wet, or you can dive right in. In the Brotherhood, we do weekly meetings. We have accountability for each other. We have workouts if you want to do a workout and get your health moving in the right direction as well. Instead of just talking about being healthy, we actually have a program that you can do to move forward and be healthy. And this isn't just physical, this isn't just a workout, this is accountability, this is discipline, this is growing in your faith and in your spirit and in your fitness. So, men, if this is something that you've been struggling with and you're like, okay, this is connecting with me, I've been talking about this for a while, It's time to get in a brotherhood and have some accountability, have some discipline, and start growing in your faith and your fitness. So again, connect with me. I will put a link in the description to click, or wherever you listen to this. There should be a way to email me also. Just hit me up. Because again, we can talk all we want. We can have the intentions, but until we start actually doing it, we're just living in fear, trying to avoid things that we don't want. And guess what? That's exactly what you're going to get. So let's start living by faith and pursuing God. God bless. Thanks for listening. Connect with me on Instagram and Facebook at Surrendered Strength. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and live the Surrendered Strength code: discipline, courage, honor.